I do want to get into some of the stories of some of these individual bucks that are kind of most memorable over the years. I would love to start with the big 200-inch public land deer that got killed a couple years ago.
Yeah, Dennis Lawson.
Well, so what's the story with Dennis? And I mean, we'll have some photos for everybody to kind of see, but what's the story of that deer and the history that he had with that deer?
Yeah, well, he and I guess some family members or friends, they would travel to, which is a few hours, or 3 hours, I think, from their home to hunt public land. They have for years. And they hunt in one particular place, and this deer, he missed it 4 years ago, just missed it. And then had another shot at it. It was the 23-24 season when he won my big buck contest. The first time that my big buck contest has been won by a public land deer, which that was cool. I mean, it's cool when whoever wins it, but when a public land one can win it, and he had redemption. You know, other people knew about this deer, and you know, you saw the picture, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness. Well, when it shows up, oh my goodness. You know, again, it had no camera shrinkage. You know, when it got to the show, it was as big as the pictures. And what a nice guy. He brought it back this year. He was the defending champ, and he brought his deer back. But 203 inches, Buckmaster, which, you know, you're familiar, I'm sure, with Buck. I like Buckmaster because it's not taking, if the deer grew it, you don't take anything from it. There's no net, just a gross. So it's the same as Boone and Crockett gross. The gross is all that matters. 203 inches of horn on a public land deer that people knew about and were hunting, and he was able to redeem himself and shoot that deer at its pinnacle, for sure. So yeah, just one of those public land giants. And the pictures, I'm sure you'll show some.
Yeah.
They're unreal.
It's unreal. And it's like the commonality with a lot of the deer that you sent us that we'll talk about, but even some of the deer I've seen on the page, is the mass that some of these bucks carry.
Yeah.
I mean, it is exceptional, especially even some of these mountain deer that don't have the best food sources that are able to put on unbelievable mass to the point that you would think this deer was in, you know, Iowa, maybe Kansas, Wisconsin, something like that. But they're coming out here in Virginia, different parts of Virginia, but in, you know, different areas. It's unbelievable, some of the characteristics. And like his buck, Dennis's buck, is a great example of that.
Split brow tine,
Yeah.
and just stuff.
He's got everything, but just a huge frame. And also, like, the one interesting thing with especially some of the bucks that you sent us is how wide some of these deer are, or is unbelievable as well.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, there's plenty of deer. Like, there's a deer last year in Arkansas that got killed, and I think he won their Big Buck Classic in Arkansas this spring. I think he was 210, 212, 213 inches, something like that. But he's only like 16 inches wide.
Wow.
But he's got tine and beam. He's got everything else in order to, you know, compensate. But when you have one of these wide frame, heavy mass, tall tine bucks, long main beams, it is like what every deer hunter dreams of. Yeah. It's like the Big Buck Hunter video game.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like, it is like that deer, and it's amazing what some of these bucks look like around here. Again, it's not like everybody's killing those kind of deer.
No, those stand out, you know. Like at Antler Stock, just a couple of weeks ago, there was a guy there, Hunter, and he had that's his name, Hunter Half, and he had the main beams were 30 inches. And,
oh my God!
So Anders was, who's the Buckmaster scorer, Anders Blixt. He was saying how uncommon that is. You know, that he said that's world class.
Yep.
Because he said, you know, your typical. I said, well, what's the typical? You know, these big ones. He said 25 inches, 24, 25 main beam, 26 maybe, but this had 30-inch main beams, which he'd only scored maybe one prior that was like that. And it was just crazy how it came around, you know, and just a bruiser. Yeah, right here in Virginia.
Yeah, I get chills thinking about that.
Yeah. And one other thing about Antler Stock, it's not just the people from last year. It's people that have brought deer, like one I sent you in the 70s. You know, people bring back these old deer that are just massive. So you get a heck of a collection of bucks. But yeah, that public land, Dennis Lawson's buck was unreal.
Yeah, and, you know, Hey, at some point, maybe try to get Dennis on the podcast to kind of tell that story. But you sent us some other ones. There was one unbelievable non-typical that you sent us that looked like had
Tom Harvey.
big split beams. What's the story on that, deer?
Yeah, and this guy is as honest as the day is long, and a great hunter, and has had a lot of success, and hunts out of the state, hunts here, and hunts all kinds of different animals. He happened to, actually that buck was taken in December, so a lot of people, when November's over, people are like, oh man, the season's over. So many great bucks have been killed in Virginia in December. They really have. So never give up on December deer hunting in Virginia. But he was at home, and he was off work, and he was burning some piles of wood outside and messing around, and you can run deer there. And there were some people on the neighboring lands that had dogs. He could hear the dogs, and he was seeing deer running. So he said, well, I might as well go in here and get my rifle and have it out here with me in case, And that deer and another one showed up. He said the other one was just as big. And the the dogs had ran him over to his property, and he shot him. He could have made up some big story, right? 30 feet in the tree and had my scent lock, and I was over here in the national forest and all. No, he told me. And then, and the truth's the truth. And he was you're talking about the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
It was a good time for him to be off work and to be at home. We say you can't kill him at home. Well, he did. He was able. He was able to kill him at home. That one, and that's. I hate to. Well, I don't hate. I don't like to just give preference to any one particular deer. There's so many great ones I've seen, but that one is just a monster. And when you see it in person, it's got stuff everywhere, and it's all thick, and it's big, and it's such character. It's a great deer.
What did that deer end up scoring? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think I had 212 and change.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
212 and change. Again, that's Boone and Crockett.
Yeah.
212 and change. Because 160 is a big deer.
Yeah.
Is a big deer. That's another 50 inches.
Oh my gosh. When you put it like that.
Put it in consideration.
That's another 50 inches.
Yeah.
Unreal. And he's an unreal cool dude as well. And archery, and does it all, and never brags. Just one of those genuine, he's a hunter. And he was blessed. He knows that. He was blessed that deer ran that way that day, and those dogs, those other hunters, ran him over there. He isn't involved with dogs, nor does he have dogs. The deer dogs from another club ran him over there to him.
Well, and this is something that's worth talking about, which is parts of Virginia, or it's legal to be able to use dogs for hunting. Same thing in Alabama, Florida. There's a bunch of states in the south, or a handful of states in the Southeast that still allow dog hunting. Some of these big bucks, these giant bucks, are coming out of those areas where there's dog hunting. And a lot of people talk about dogs as being like, man, if you get dog hunters around, like, you're not going to have anything. Like, they're killing everything. Bucks don't get age. And I'm sure there's places like that for one way or the other. But some of these places around here, what you're talking about, and some of these counties that allow dog hunting, there still are these world-class bucks coming out of there for whatever reason. Do you have thoughts on why that might be the case? Is it the ruggedness? Is it the thickness of the terrain? Is it food and agriculture? Like, what are some of the factors, especially on the eastern part of the state, where some of these big deer are coming out of, where they can still run dogs?
Well, in eastern Virginia, there's more agriculture, so the ground is more fertile. I think a lot of the cover down there is much thicker than here in the mountains. There's laurel and stuff in the mountains, but it's open too, not open fields because you're in the mountains. But it's real thick and dense. A lot of that. So and I'm not partial. I've never been on a dog-led deer hunt. I have a bear hunting, and it's fantastic. The camaraderie is unbelievable. The dogs are champions. It's cool to hear the barking. It gets you going, the blood going. So I think it's awesome, and that's the tradition down there. But I think the success down that way and the antler growth is certainly from what's coming out of the ground. Iowa is that for that reason, right? It's fertile soil, and it has been for hundreds of years. So therefore, what is eating that fertile soil is going to be a little bigger. Down in Eastern Virginia, so much agriculture, soybeans, peanuts, just ag fields, flat land, very huntable, but a lot of it's thick cover, and dogs certainly don't hurt the chances of getting them out of there. I've been in the mountains, like we were talking earlier, and sat there and not seeing anything. I thought, man, would I like a pack of beagles to come through that laurel and see what happens, So I'm all for it. It's tradition. I support the tradition of hunting. If I were born and raised running dogs, all for it. I'm born and raised here. That doesn't mean I'm against it. No one should be against it. And a lot of it's fake news, as Trump says, fake news about whatever is happening with dog hunters. If dog hunters are dropping their dogs right off beside your land that says trespassing right there, that's not cool. But I think the vast majority of them do care. And hey, it's tradition. It's legal. I really do want to go on a dog-led deer hunt at some point. But I think the success rate down there for the bigger quality, and there's big western deer. There's great big mountain bucks like that 203. That just means there's good genes and there's good food.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just fascinating because that circumstance. Now, there's a few other deer that you had sent us. There was one with a woman. It looked like a giant typical. What's the story on that?
Yep, she and her husband were hunting together in a blind and right place to right time. I'm not so sure. I can't recollect if they knew the deer was around or not. I don't think that they did. Real nice couple, and she was able to get the shot and get it done. And that, to my knowledge, that deer is still the biggest ever taken by a female in Virginia. Miss Long, that's her last name, and I sent you that buck because isn't it beautiful?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I think there's 16 points maybe, but they're all right around there perfectly.
It's like a giant rib cage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that kind of deer that people are like, oh man, he looks like he had a giant rib cage on his head, a rocking chair. That's what that deer looks like.
Well, and I've hunted. I'm 58. I've hunted ever since I was 10. I've never seen a deer like that in the woods. I would hope I could compose myself. That's the other thing about these big deer that are shot, the composure that it takes. People think, oh, well, they had a gun, and I understand, it's a pretty good advantage that I've got the gun, not traditional archery, but it's still, you got to pull the shot off, and you haven't target shot at anything like that. You've target shot at the bullseye, that's steady, and you got, you're on the bench and then clipped in, and all of a sudden, there's that. Mm-hmm. And being able to compose yourself and actually successfully kill ones, I don't know, that's, that's amazing stuff.
Well, do you remember the size of that deer of Herbuck, Miss Long?
190.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yep. I remember looking at your article you had written on it, and I was going to say it's under 200, but the thing is, like, when you get one of those giant typicals like that, to me, the frames are so much more impressive.
Yeah.
Like, it may not score as high, but God, it's, people dream of a deer like that their entire life.
It's a record book. It's a huge all-timer. And she's a very, very nice lady. And, that's hers still is the biggest female buck taken or by a female in Virginia. Yeah.
What are some of the other stories of some of the other bucks that have been notable for you over the years that kind of comes to your thought process?
So many, there's so many that come to mind that people have taken. For instance, there was one at the show, Mike Shiflett. I don't know that Anders didn't score it, and I didn't even ask Mike what the score was. It was 1993, and he is a hunter that's kind of quiet, and Friday we had scoring there. Saturday was the event, but Friday we opened it up for people to bring bucks in early if they wanted to get them scored. And a young man was in there and said, hey, I know Mike Shiflett. And I stopped and I was like, get him to the show. Because he didn't come. I've invited him the last few years, and he acted kind of like he would, and he didn't. So I'd kind of given up on him coming. And this guy says Mike Shiflett to me, and I'm like focused on him. I said, hey, man, do whatever you got to. Make sure he's here tomorrow. He came. And that buck is not only character, it's massive. And I need to show that to you. And I will. I'll send you pictures. It's massive. In 1993, and it was National Forest, and it was Rockbridge County, for sure. And he enjoyed being there because people were just like, oh, my gosh. And hopefully, I think we'll get him back next year. Matter of fact, I think he lives closer to Bedford where we're going to have antler stock next year. So that comes to mind, and, all kinds.
Do you have a notable youth hunter who, killed an exceptional deer that you've seen from like the competition standpoint? Submitted a deer, maybe not know the name.
Well, the young boy, Josh Clark Bowling, that won my youth division a couple weekends ago, 170, but yeah, he killed a 170. I don't know if but there's been comparable ones for the youth. Just having that division is spectacular because what I learned early on, there's no doubt that more of us men hunt, right? So there's more opportunity for us to shoot big bucks. So if I was just piling everybody into one group, guess what? The guys are going to win first, second, third. Wow. Okay. That's cool, but all these other people are hunting, and I wanted to acknowledge them. So even mobility impaired folks, I have, a division for them: men, women, public land, and youth and mobility impaired. So no hunter left behind in my book, because and everybody has a fair shake at getting a division and getting in your own division. And the women have killed some massive deer too. Massive deer. So, but yeah, the page is. People have really taken to it and helped me make it into something that has, I guess it's fair to say it's a staple of Virginia.